welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. Obviously, when Kelsey Mitchell went down in the third quarter of the Indiana Fever versus Las Vegas Aces game 5 in the semifinals, it was jarring. It was jarring for me because I'm doing the live stream, I'm chatting with people, watching the game. It's really intense. And then she's on the floor, and I have no idea why she's on the floor. And we're all saying, well, what happened? They go to commercial. When they came back, they were showing, I didn't know it, but it was an actual, like it was a replay of something. And she was up and she was walking, and I was like, okay, thank God she's up. But she wasn't up. Like I said, it was a replay. She's down there on the floor, and we're trying to figure out what in the world happened. Well, obviously she had to leave the game. The stretcher had come out. She didn't use the stretcher, but she wasn't walking fluidly. You find out after the game that she was at the hospital. She had extreme cramping, but it wasn't just extreme cramping. It was extreme cramping that was the result of other stuff going on in her body. And so today on X, she released this statement. I'm going to read it. We're going to talk about it. And then we're going to talk about Kelsey more. Kelsey, the player, Kelsey, the woman, Kelsey, the teammate. And after we talk about what happened to Kelsey, here is Kelsey's X account. Professional athlete, Indiana Fever, the Ohio State University alumni, University of Cincinnati grad. And this is what she posted. To the Fever fans and fans of Kels Hoop, me letting you all know about my health is just me showing love and respect to those who showed it to me. I suffered from something called rhabdomyolysis last night. My muscles stopped producing and reached its maximum capacity. I went into a sense of numbness, paralyzing feeling with no movement from my lower extremities for up to 5 to 7 seconds. Because my muscles stopped producing positive blood to my bloodstream, my body locked up from a physical standpoint, and from there, fatigue and cramping settled in. It sucked. I panicked because I began to think the worst when I felt like I couldn't move my legs. It was an out-of-body experience for me, and I thank God for covering me at a time like that. So today on October 1st, I'm walking and moving at a slow pace, but I will be fine very soon. I want to thank the Fever medical team, Vegas medical team, and the staff at the local hospital for keeping me safe. In other words, I played literally till my wheels fell off. Thank you for the prayers, love, respect, and support throughout all of this. If you rode with me through this journey, then I love you. 0 out. So if you're like me, this is the first time you ever heard of rhabdomyolysis. So I wanted to look it up. And what is it? Obviously, it was something, when you just listen to what she said, she felt paralyzed for like 5 to 7 seconds. Now, after I saw her post, going back and looking at what happened, you can see the stiffness there, even when she's trying to walk off. So it looked exactly like she described it. So we're going to go over to my.clevelandclinic.org and find out a little bit more about rhabdomyolysis. Rhabdomyolysis is a rare muscle injury where your muscles break down. This is a life-threatening condition that can happen after an injury or excessive exercise without rest. If you notice symptoms like weakened sore muscles and color changes in your pee, contact your healthcare provider. And overview. What is rhabdomyolysis? It's a condition that causes your muscles to break down, which leads to muscle death. When this happens, toxic components of your muscle fibers enter your circulation system and kidneys. This can cause kidney damage. This dangerous muscle condition can result from overexertion, trauma, medications, or an underlying health condition. Common signs and symptoms of rhabdomyolysis are weak muscles, muscle stiffness, muscle pain, and a change in your pee color. You may hear rhabdomyolysis referred to as rhabdo. And again, here you see rhabdomyolysis can be life-threatening. So if you notice any of these signs or symptoms, visit a healthcare provider immediately. And this is really interesting. Rhabdomyolysis is relatively uncommon. Every year, about 26,000 people in the United States develop this condition. So Kelsey got something that's not common. So what symptoms and causes? What are the signs and symptoms? Signs and symptoms are muscle swelling, weak muscles, tender and sore muscles, dark pee that's brown, red, or tea colored. And the symptoms can range from mild to severe. The symptoms usually develop 1 to 3 days after a muscle injury, though some people may not even notice muscle soreness. And some people get dehydration, decreased urination, nausea, loss of consciousness. What causes it? Injury or trauma, high intensity exercise, severe dehydration or overheating, medication, substance use disorder, long periods of inactivity, certain medical conditions. So it's interesting because it can be high intensity exercise or activity, but also long periods of inactivity. Well, we certainly know that it wasn't inactivity that did this to Kelsey Mitchell. And what happens? Rhabdomyolysis causes your muscles to break down and deteriorate. This makes components of your muscles leak into your blood, your circulation system, including large amounts of potassium, phosphate, myoglobin, CK, and urate. And so again, physical kidney failure can result. And what are the risk factors? And it says an endurance athlete like marathon runners. Wow. So just a quick overview of this rhabdomyolysis, which I had never heard of. So I agree with Kelsey when she says, I thank God for covering me, because you just heard it. This is a life-threatening situation. This is why it's unwise when people get on social media and make comments about things they know nothing about, or joke about things. And you saw people, at least I did, on social media, like, oh, she got a cramp. She can't play and she got a cramp. Soft. You don't always know what's going on. Or people who bet on sports, which I think shouldn't be a thing. But anyway, people who bet on sports and they're ticked off at the team. And Kelsey, I saw something where it was like, I can't believe Kelsey Mitchell blew my money by, having to leave the game. Sometimes it's best to say nothing when you don't know anything. In a situation like this, life threatening, thank God that she was able to get the help she needed and is recovering from that. But the league might have some stuff to address. And she's like, I literally, I basically played till the wheels fell off. Just they just played on Sunday, and so get to Las Vegas and play again on Tuesday. A lot of people have comments about that. I'll probably say more about that at another time. But again, glad that Kelsey is fine. And I just want to use this time to say what an absolute pleasure it was to watch Kelsey Mitchell do what people who've watched her for years already knew she could do. Now, I didn't watch Kelsey Mitchell. I had never even heard of her until I heard of Caitlin Clark in 2024. But people have been watching her ball out since college, and also, of course, in the WNBA, but playing for Indiana, she didn't experience a whole lot of wins, a whole lot of attention. But we said last season that she and Caitlin, the best backcourt in the WNBA. So many of us wanted to see her come back, and she came back. And then many of us have enjoyed cheering her on, just seeing her take this team, put this team on her back, having to do more than I'm sure she wanted to do, and seeing her do it on both sides of the court. Like last season, we didn't see the defense that we got to see from Kelsey Mitchell in 2025. But I enjoy watching her play. I enjoy what she brings to the team, and I just enjoy her as an individual. Whenever she's asked questions, she's not just giving these scripted replies. She's thoughtful, she's reflective, and she seems to be a person who just she knows who she is. She appreciates when other people acknowledge her gifts and her talents and pours into her. Like who doesn't appreciate that? But she's told us that she's never had a coach who poured into her as Stephanie White has. She just seems like someone who's been through some things, and so she sees things differently. She's got a very quiet spirit about her. I know she lost her dad, and she had to find the joy in even playing basketball again, because she said he believed in her when no one else did. And I think that her missing him and the relationship she had with him, you see it come out in the way she carries herself. The passion she has for the game, although it's a quiet passion, it's loud in terms of production. But when you have suffered great loss, you tend to see the world differently than perhaps some other people do. I feel like she got a bad rap from some people out there who were upset, like we all were, that Caitlin Clark was injured. But some people needed someone to blame for that. And generally, for some people, that became Kelsey Mitchell. And they dragged her name and they did all that, just as they did, because some wanted to blame the coach, some blame both of them. But people were honestly acting out because they were upset about Caitlin Clark and they needed somebody to blame. But Caitlin and Kelsey continue to have an incredible relationship, as all members of this team have had. And the team, like I said, so able to block out the noise. And Kelsey has told us before, these people don't know what's going on in our locker room. And she said, we all we got, we all we need. And she put that team on her back, carried that team, and we all we got, we all we need is every member of the team. And so just wanted to shout her out because you often use cliches like leave it all out on the floor. She did that. She left it all out on the floor. She had to play heavy minutes. She had to score the ball a lot. She had to play defense. She had a lot to do because this team refused to quit. And in the end, it cost her greatly. And her body just said enough at one point. And that was the last point. That was the end of the season for Kelsey. And a few minutes later, it was the end of the season for the Indiana Fever. But she gave everything she had to give. This team gave everything, but she really, when you hear about what rhabdomyolysis is, thank God she's okay. Thank God. Thank God that I guess that I don't know anything about it, but thank God that she stiffened up when she did, because if it had gone ignored, sounds to me like that would have been a major, major problem. So I appreciate Kelsey Mitchell. I appreciate her loyalty to the game, to her team, to her family, obviously, her appreciation to the fans to give us their report, say, hey, if you've been rocking with me, I love you. I appreciate you. This season wouldn't have gotten this far without a doubt without Kelsey Mitchell. So Kelsey, praying for you, and I'm so glad you're okay. God is good. And I'll catch you next time, everybody. God willing. God bless you abundant.